Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily. It's Des here. Hopefully you're having a great day, a great week. Hopefully you're getting out there and getting plenty of activity. Just been out myself, but I'll explain a bit more about that shortly. Feeling a bit under the weather today. Of course, the weather's a bit drab out there, isn't it? So if you can get out, brave the elements. It's so important to make the most of it if you can, but I can understand those that don't. It's slippery, it's wet and cold, so just be careful. I was just thinking there, we're actually 2 weeks into the new year. Time's flying again, isn't it? We're getting towards the end of another week. On Monday, it's Blue Monday, as they say, this day each year that's supposed to be probably the most depressing day of the year, where people start feeling the after effects of Christmas, the weather, money, all these kind of things that can get to us sometimes, just start feeling it. Of course, right now, there's lots to concern us, warriors. I don't think it'll be too different to normal, but something to bear in mind, we've got to keep at it. Of course, I asked last week's throwback question, but I'll come to that shortly. I'm gonna fire off with the first question because it makes sense of what I've just been saying. Helen asked, just before I went live last week, Helen asked the question, which one word would you use to describe running? I think this is a great question. These are the sort of questions I love, just these little short ones where I can be sharp and snappy with the answer. The reason I've started with it is because I've just been out, and like I say, I'm feeling a bit under the weather. I wanted to keep my streak going, but it felt absolutely awful. And there's many four-letter words I could use to describe that. I won't. What I would say, in all seriousness, running for me personally, I've said this many times through DOdaily, it was a little bit of a game changer. And that's the word I'd probably use. It was something that changed my life completely, changed my mindset, made me start looking at different things, and whilst it's not easy, it's not straightforward every day, to get out. I'm currently in the middle of a running streak. I think it's 75 days now. And so far this year, I've been absolutely flying. I've been on top of it, I've been feeling strong. But all of a sudden, just feeling a few effects. I don't know whether it's the running. Of course, I had my vaccination yesterday. I don't know whether there's a few side effects from that. I'm probably putting it down to that, to be honest. So I went out there, I was steady, I got it in, but it was so important for me to do. Whilst it is wet and damp and cold, just getting that fresh air. Got a bit of an headache, so getting that fresh air, getting a few miles in, getting a bit of a sweat on, whilst it was tough and it really took it out of me, I took the conscious decision to slow things down, to sort of taking the surroundings. I did say to Kay, there's two kinds of snow, isn't there? There's the nice, crispy, crunchy stuff that you like to walk through and is picturesque, and then there's the damp, wet, grubby, sort of slushy stuff that we've got at the moment here in Nottingham. So unfortunately, we've been out that. Hopefully in the morning there's a whiting over and we get some of that nicer snow if it's not clear and I'm able to get somewhere nice for a walk. But if it is crunchy, it'll make for some great photos. It'll make for some great scenes, and it'll be fantastic to get out there. But the one word I'd use to describe, and like I said, I love those kind of questions, is game changer, because I've said many times through running the difference it's made to me. Every time I do it, I feel great for doing it. And when you enjoy something so much, when you get so much from it, it never gets boring. And I can honestly say it never gets boring for me. It's led me in many different directions. I never envisaged doing running clubs. I never envisaged meeting Kay, and that was through the running club. I never envisaged going on to do a YouTube channel when I was 40. Probably a few years behind that, but there you go. So it's been an absolute game changer. I can't sort of credit it enough, and that's why I'm so keen to keep passing on the message. That's why I enjoy what I do. I really, really love doing the things I do, and I put that all down to taking up running. Whilst I started to lose weight, it wasn't until I took up running that it really made a difference. So thanks for the question. I'll move on to last week's throwback question now. How are you progressing with your New Year's resolutions, current targets and goals? And the reason I've done it in this order, because I wanted to speak about my run today, but also, like I say there, I've been feeling absolutely fantastic about mine. I've been on top of things. I've not been drinking. I've not been eating meat. And these are I've done the drinking challenge before. The not eating meat, something different. I'm trying all sorts of things with my diet, and I'm sticking to it pretty well at the moment. Of course, I've got the running streak that's carrying on. So just thinking about what's helping me, I believe, is working off all the different things. I've not got time sometimes to think, I want to do this, I want to do that. Be easy at the weekend to grab a drink. There's actually some still in the fridge from Christmas. There's some wine in the cupboard, but not been tempted. One or two occasions, I start just thinking about the food, and when I'm not thinking so much and I'm starting to think I'm hungry and I want this for lunch, I have to remember that that's not available this month. Now I've set myself the challenge. So Kay's the same. We're doing pretty well. We're bouncing off each other. And like I say, one of the reasons for asking this question was because we're getting towards that Blue Monday. And again, one of the reasons they sort of say that this day is the way it is because, again, after all these sort of resolutions, people giving the year a good start, looking forward to what they're doing, it's quite often at this time of year where things start dropping off, where the resolutions have gone out the window, where the goals and the challenges have stopped. And it's just important to keep driving through, isn't it? I've got a couple of answers. I didn't get too much. Hopefully that doesn't mean people have give up. I did say whether it's working or not working, the purpose is to try and keep encouraging. It's okay if you've fallen off the wagon. We can help get you back on. But I did get a couple of responses. Davna said she's sticking to dry January. A lot of people are doing that. Of course, she's exercising every day, sticking to the training plan of walking, alternating between walking and running with the hope of doing 10K. So that's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? If she's sticking to that, again, one thing's probably helping another, and when you need that little boost to tackle one, when one of them might be getting to you, this is what I'm finding. When the food I start thinking about food, I start thinking about the run again, and it's just that distraction sometimes to bounce off each other. And it seems that's what Davna might be doing too. Ben said lockdown. Sorry, I'm just looking at what he said. Lockdown affected his short-term plans. In terms of running, he was breaking his runs down. It means he can only run once a day now. But he's taken the opportunity to catch up on some core and conditioning work. I know he's got a frame at home, so he's using that. He's getting a lot of longer runs in as well. So, of course, he's building his endurance. And that's what it's about, isn't it? It's just about readjusting. If it affects, we've just got to look at ways to keep going, keep enjoying the things we do, keep pushing on. Like I say, if a challenge comes to an end, we could always create another one. We can always start again. But we kind of need to know where we are with it. We need to keep evaluating it, keep understanding. Are we on top of this or are we struggling? And if we are, we can speak to each other. We can talk to ourselves and sort of G ourselves up and get back on it. It's just about understanding how it's going. Like I say, Blue Monday's on the horizon. Let's not let it affect us too much. Let's just keep sort of encouraging activity, encouraging the things we do, encouraging people by the achievement of what they're doing, congratulate them. That's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? 2 weeks. If people have stuck to the challenges by now, you're halfway through. I've seen a little graph. It was a bar chart, and it's shown 1 day, and then it's shown 2 days, and then it's shown a week. And it was very simplistic, but it just sort of resonated with me. You do 1 day, and then if you've done 2, you've already doubled it. You've already done 100% more. And it sounds simple, but for me that really worked. Then I was thinking 4 days, and then you've doubled that, and you're over a week, and so on and so on. And that's helped me get through. So it's just about finding little ways to keep going. Little ways to keep pushing on is really important, isn't it? Just to realise and understand where we are with it, and if it's not quite working out, just reevaluate, take a backward step. Admit. Put your hands up. It didn't quite work this time, and we go again and smash it next time. Moving on to the next question. Again, it was from Helen. I really enjoyed this question. Again, it ties in with what I've just said there. How are you getting on with not eating meat? And if anything, are you using? If anything, are you using? There's a word missing there. What are you using as a replacement? not eating meat, it's a tricky one. Like I said, it's not been too bad. It's when I'm not thinking, when I'm a little bit tired. You know, I was quite often on a Friday morning after the wake up to walk, me and Kay will get a sausage sandwich or a sausage cob from a shop, you know, and a coffee and that kind of thing. And of course, because we get up early, I'm tired. And I've noticed sometimes when I'm tired, I start making bad decisions. Last Friday, I didn't do that, but I was thinking about this bacon sandwich all morning. But I quickly sort of got over that. I've replaced sort of my breakfast with porridge pots. You know, I'm not a massive fan of porridge. You know, I understand the benefit of it. I understand how healthy it is, and it's great at this time of year, particularly when you're going out early in the morning in the cold. So I have that when I get to work. It kind of substitutes that breakfast meal. It's a little bit boring, but it's something I can take to work. I can make it quite easily, you know, and I'm not thinking about the options. And then at the weekend, what we do with breakfast, where we normally have bacon, sausage, fry-ups, cobs, all those kind of things. I'm also, whilst I've not said I'm not having bread and such things like that, I'm trying to make slight changes and reduce that as well. So at the weekend, we might have beans on toast, we might have eggs on toast, something like that, just to substitute, because it feels like a bit of a treat. Even though we're taking that out early in the week, it just feels like that something to look forward to rather than the monotony of cereal, you know, and fruit at work, you know, and then coming back and having the lunchtime stuff. In terms of lunchtime, we tend to have a lot of soup. Again, it's cold, isn't it? You know, getting in around lunchtime as I do, it's great to have that, you know, and again, it's a little bit repetitive. It can get a little bit boring, but it's better than eating all the bread and thinking of ham sandwiches and all these things. And a couple of times in the evening, what we tend to do is, whilst I'm not eating meat, I've not gone vegan, I've not gone veggie, you know, I'm still eating eggs and cheese, and that's where I'm trying to find my protein from. Fish, you know, I'm not a massive fish fan either, but things like salmon and tuna I like. So we're finding like dishes we can have: pasta, salmon, tuna, rice, all those things, peas, you know, all the usual. We had a curry last Friday. One thing we have quite often on a Friday evening, we normally have beer with it, but we had a curry and we had butternut squash in it, you know. It's not quite chicken, is it? I love a chicken curry, but it's an option. And we made our own Bombay potatoes and things like that. So whilst we're trying to make changes with a diet, and whilst I'm cutting out the meat to see what effects that has, you know, it's we're not cutting out everything, and just having those, trying different things with different food is quite fun as well. You know, it's fun to do. It's interesting to see how it fills you up and what impact it has on you. And to be honest, I think it's one of the reasons I'm feeling great. Quite often with the meat, it's kind of a go-to thing, isn't it? You know, like I said there, bacon sandwiches. You can be tired, you can pick up a sandwich from the shop. You know, all these things, Greg's, all these kind of things get in the way. And it's just a case of standing firm. You know, it's helping in terms of the shopping bill as well. It's cheap. We've also cut out fizzy drinks and alcohol. So what we're spending on the extra bit of specialised food in terms of different yogurts, different soups, you know, we're saving. So it's just all sort of stacking up for us. It's working. I know sometimes if I've had a big breakfast on the weekend, you know, I can be a bit lethargic and a bit lazy. So I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling like I want to keep attacking things, want to keep going. So it's been absolutely fantastic. So hopefully there's one or few ideas there, Helen. Hopefully that sort of gives you some sort of feel about how we're approaching it. You know, it's not always easy, but, you know, by just trying those things, by being positive about it. It's what I say about everything right now, isn't it? It's about being positive and embracing the challenge. You know, when it gets tough, you think, oh, well, do you know that curry? I'd never had butternut squash in a curry, you know? But we did it. It wasn't quite the same. It wasn't too bad either, you know, it was okay. So just little things like that make it work. So thanks for that question. I thought that was a real good one. Moving on to question 3. This comes from Ben, quite topical as well after what I said about not feeling fantastic. Now you've had the vaccine, do you think you might become impatient with the lockdown in a few weeks? Well, the honest answer, and I touched on this yesterday, is I don't think I will, to be honest. You know, Yesterday, I was thinking back in the evening, it never crossed my mind about the impact the vaccine will have on me and the fact it will stop. It was just the thought of getting to a point where everybody can do things, where everybody can enjoy what we used to. What I want more than anything is just to be able to do the things I used to do, the great things, the things we took for granted with the people we used to do them. And until everybody's had, till that one last jab goes in, when we can all feel safe and secure, we've got to do what we have to do, haven't we? We've got to adhere to the rules. We've got to keep to the restrictions. Am I frustrated? Absolutely. I'm frustrated through the whole situation. I think everybody's absolutely the same, but there's no point me being able to do something if everybody else can't, and like I said yesterday, I feel really, really fortunate to have had it. There's people who need it much more than me, but for the sake of it not being wasted, for the sake of like I just said, for it not being wasted, going in the bin, it was important to use it. And working in the NHS, it just means when I do think about it, I can go to work. I've been working all the way through. I don't want no medal for that. I'm only a small cog in the NHS, but it just means going to work and can feel a bit more, probably a bit safer. Whilst I'd not thought about that yesterday, today, probably going back into the office and being in a hub as I do, it did feel that little bit safer. Lots of people are talking about when they'll have theirs, and hopefully the whole thing can sort of pick up pace. I know there's targets of the autumn. Perhaps, I don't know, I've no idea, but perhaps they can roll it out a bit quicker. They're talking about going 24/7 with the vaccine, and if that sort of picks up some momentum and everybody can get vaccinated, who knows? Perhaps it could be the summer, and that's all I'm praying for. I spoke yesterday about the events sort of in the autumn, early autumn, September, October. So that's what I've geared my mind to. If I don't get to those and I've done all the training, perhaps I'll be a little bit frustrated like we was in the first lockdown. It was really, really frustrating, wasn't it? It was difficult when things were getting cancelled, when things were getting put off. And I feel I've been really realistic in the fact I've tried not to plan too much. If things have got cancelled, I've understood that. It's not personal, it's the same for everybody. I've tried not to take it to heart, and by doing that, I think I'll just be doing that going forward, Yes, almost put a time frame in my head, so if it gets to that point, it will be a bit upsetting. But again, like everything else, we have to deal with it as it comes out. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For the time being, I'm absolutely not going to get frustrated. I'm looking at the figures every day, how many people have been vaccinated, because I want it to be higher. I want more people to have it. I want to be able to enjoy the things we did. A couple of years ago, I remember the summer we just, through the running community, through my friends, we never went home, it seemed. We was always out on the embankment. We was always out enjoying runs and things like that. And that's the kind of thing that you sort of look back to and think, that's why we've got to work so hard to get back there. It's so important, isn't it? And it's just a case of working hard to get back there. So thanks for the question, Ben. I thought that was interesting. Like I said, I am feeling a bit groggy today. So a little bit of that enthusiasm from yesterday, that excitement and feeling like we're moving forward. I've got a bit of an headache. My arm really, really hurts. So hopefully that'll wear off quickly. And again, as more and more people have it, they will start understanding more what we can do. And fingers crossed, we'll get out there sooner than later. And then the last question, thanks to Simon from this. Yesterday, I mentioned the fact that I partly maybe because I did that vaccination, because I've seen things happening again. I signed up to an autumn marathon. Nothing I feel is too soon. The reason I did this, before I answer the question directly, was because it gives me plenty of time to train. Whilst I'm feeling fantastic about what I've done so far, whilst I've been on top of my running, whilst I've done lots of different kind of activities, and I'm feeling that strength build apart from today, working on my diet and all these things, it gives me lots of time to build up slowly. One thing I've learned is to be patient. There's no point rushing training. I've done it before. I've fallen into all the traps that everybody seems to do. And that's all I'm trying to do, is just hand out a few little bits of advice, a few tips on where I've got it wrong, mainly, because I feel sometimes we just need that nugget. We need that one thing can spark us into action. It can, if we don't do something because someone's told us, it can change everything, and we can think, yes, that's the way forward, and really work from it. But I've got so long to train for it. Again, COVID's going to be in for the next few months. We know over the next couple of months in particular, it's going to be quite severe and it's quite worrying still. So it gives me that opportunity to get out there and train. Part of the reason I'm going out when I'm not feeling absolutely fantastic is because that's what marathon training does for you. You have to get the miles in. There's no hiding place. There's no opportunity to miss it, particularly as it draws on. You have to get the miles in. So tough days like today are all it's all character building stuff. I was battling the elements. I was battling my headache. I'm battling my sort of mood with it, but it's about getting out there and doing it. And once it's done, it always feels fantastic. But I did sign for that. I did sign up for that marathon in particular. Of course, there's other marathons about. There's other opportunities. I've done this one twice, and this is why Simon asked the question. I've done it twice before, so he's asking why I'm doing it again. There was a time when I used to sign up for events, and I didn't want to sort of go and repeat the ones I did. I thought I wanted to do as many as I can and do all the different ones and really enjoy them. But what I've learned with marathons in particular, it's important sometimes to just know what you're doing. Don't leave anything to chance. And I will do other ones. I've got Brighton sort of lined up and the Yorkshire Marathon. Potentially, I could have done that in the autumn too. But with this one, there's friends doing it. That adds so much as well. And I absolutely love Manchester. So I always talk about getting the most from things, not necessarily the actual sort of thing you're looking at. So by going to Manchester to do a marathon, I love the city. I love going out there. I love the celebration after. I love the spirit of the day. So again, it's something, however the run goes, I can enjoy the occasion. I can look forward to it. I'm quite familiar with the setup now there, having done it twice, the route. And again, it just gives me those little bits of, those little nuggets to work from, those things that I potentially worry about. We all have a bit of a marathon meltdown before the race. And sometimes just knowing what you've got in front of you, just understanding what it's all about, what the city's like, what the travel's like, because it's so important to be prepared. If I can give any advice before a marathon, it's to be prepared, know exactly what you're doing. Don't leave anything to chance. Make sure your kit's right. Make sure your nutrition's right. Make sure you know where you're going. Make sure you know your routes. It's so important, because towards the end, it's mentally tough. Any marathon after 20 miles, I think I heard something the other day. Somebody says halfway through is not really 13 miles in a marathon, is it? It's about 20, because that's where the brick wall hits us. So all these thoughts are racing through our mind, and what we don't need is added pressure. So like I say, the main reason is because other people are doing this marathon, because other people are taking part. So Kay as well, it's going to be her second marathon after proclaiming she was never going to run one again. It's important to support her and get her through it as well. And we can train together as well as friends from the Do Running community. But like I say, that familiarity, the fact I enjoyed it both times I did it, there was issues surrounding both. I went into one of them a little bit poorly. I went into one unprepared, but I've done well. I've done well considering those things whilst I've been there. So it's something I feel when I'm particularly on it, when I'm feeling strong, when I feel I've started the new year. I had a frustrating time last year. So this gives me a real aim, and again, I'm eliminating that doubt of what it's going to be. The London ballot comes out in a week or two, and if I get into that, I'll have 2 marathons in 2 weeks. Again, it's not something I'd particularly choose to do, but I'm going to do it because it's a challenge, and who misses London? People go back to London because they enjoy it every year. Just because it's not London, it doesn't mean you can't enjoy a marathon, and that's why I enjoy Manchester. It's quite a lot there, Simon. Hopefully you got something from that, and if you're thinking about doing something similar, knowing Simon well, I know he loves the Manchester scene as well, so he might be inspired to sign up. He's probably cursing me as we speak, but hopefully there was some good information there, guys. Thanks for the questions, the variation. You know, I'm not quite with it today. Hopefully the videos come out okay. It's the same as ever. Just try and pass on some useful bits of information. Try and reflect a little bit on what's gone before. Keep working at those challenges. Keep looking at what's coming. You know, I've got the Friday. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Got the wake up to walk tomorrow. Like I say, I'm hoping there's a bit of a white over and I can walk through the crunchy snow, get some great pictures, you know, reflect on the week, look forward to the weekend, perhaps look forward to Monday a bit more and talk about what that's all about, you know, and reflect on what I've said. And that's all it's about, isn't it? It's just about keep passing that message on. You know, sometimes I tend to repeat over a couple of weeks cycle what's happened, but that's what it's all about. It's just about understanding that the more you talk about it, the more you try and understand it. One of the biggest things I've done in the last year or so is realize that if I understand it, you know, if I'm not sort of always out there with an element of doubt, you know, if it's set in my mind the way I want to be, the things I want to do, I'm happy to push on and do it regardless of what anyone says or thinks. It's important to me, so I'll do it, and that's really important. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna have a lie down. I feel a little bit out of breath from all the talking. So thanks for watching. As ever, please like, subscribe, share, do all the usual things. You know, I'll keep going. You know, and I'll, like I say, back tomorrow for Wake Up to Walk. If you've got any questions, post them in. You know, that's the big thing. I can't do it without your content. I've got a few sort of hanging over from this week. People have asked me the questions. I can't, like I say, I can't thank people enough for that. I will use them in due course. So if you have posted the question, don't think that it's not going to get answered, because I'll definitely do that. But for now, guys, enjoy that snow the best you can, or just get wrapped up like I'm going to. Get the onesie on, get under the duvet, and have a good evening. For now, guys, just doing it.